And we can go ahead and get started with our topic for today. I appreciate your work and the things that you're doing and your meetings with the advisors that you're doing. The final assignment, I think, is worth 100 points. The other things we've been done have been done with 10 points or so, but the final assignment will be worth 100 points, and it's given in two particular iterations. The first one is a quiz. The quiz is just a series of questions asking you about your particular degree plan. Questions about what you do, what you're majoring in, what advisor you met with, how you're developing that degree plan. So be asking particular questions like, what is your major? And if this is your major, how many credits does it take to fulfill that particular major? What course are you using for your first year writing requirements? So I'll ask you those particular specific types of questions so that we can be able to manage, so I can see if you've had good conversations with your advisors and been able to do that. This series of questions will just take you through an academic plan so that I know that you've developed one instead of me having to read 140 different academic plans. And this quiz will give me insight into how you develop an academic plan and whether or not that plan includes 120 credits for your degree plan, or if you're doing some other degree plan like a BS in chemistry, that's 124 credits. And so there'll be those sort of specific questions that I'll ask. And so I hope to have that quiz loaded by Thursday so you can begin to see the kinds of questions that you will ask. The second part of the final assignment is a narrative, a paper. So I'll ask you questions and you'll have to write to me. I think it's less than 500 words, but it is a paper where you talk about what this major is, why this is important to you, what your motivation is for completing this major, and what's the long-term plan for you. Also ask you to think about challenges you might have in fulfilling this particular long-term plan. So hopefully you've had an opportunity to meet with an academic advisor to have those sorts of conversations. And so there'll be two different pieces. Again, a quiz that will release on Thursday, and then a final paper or written assignment that you will do online. And that will be released on December, what's the date of the last day of class? December 7th. So that will be released on December 7th. So you'll have to do those two particular things. Are there questions you have about that?
When are these two things due?
The due date for the final assignment, thank you, I just changed it. So the final assignment is due, I think it's December 14th. So it's not the last day of class, it's a week after the last day of class. So it is due December 14th.
Is there going to be a time limit on the quiz?
Is there a time limit on the quiz? No. Yes, the paper is due December 14th. There is not a time limit on the quiz. I'm not asking you to answer questions in time. I'm asking you to answer them in detail. So there will be several questions that you will have to give details on. So I want you to have an opportunity to think about it. So it won't be time limited.
On December 14th, is there going to be any specific time that the quiz is due, or will it just be before midnight?
It'll be before midnight, December 14th.
Okay, thank you.
You can turn it in anytime before, but both the paper and the quiz will be finished by December 14th at midnight, 11:59 actually.
So do we have to meet with our advisor one more time to go over like finer details for you, or can we give you what we've discussed before in the past?
Have you had a recent appointment?
Yeah, like a month ago or something like that.
And then I think you can look at it at the questions that are released on Thursday. If you need to have more conversation, you can actually email your advisor just to get more clarification if there's something in the quiz that you don't understand. But you don't have to necessarily have another appointment. I wanted you to have at least 2 appointments with your advisor this semester. So if you've had those 2, You don't have to have another, but there may be particular questions that the quiz reveals that you can do via email with your academic advisor. So there's a question in the chat that says, is something due on December 7th? Nothing is due on December 7th. The quiz that you will have to complete will be released this Thursday. That is December 3rd. And the paper, the paper assignment, that will be released on December 7th. Both of those things are due December 14th.
So wait, okay, I'm kind of confused. Let me clarify.
Mhm.
You want us to answer questions to a quiz that pertains our long-term goal, but we won't be able to see the questions until we open the quiz?
You won't be able to see the questions until the quiz is released, correct? But there is no time limit, so you don't have to do it that day. It's more of a survey than a quiz. I should call it a survey instead of a
Can we
quiz.
pause and come back to it
Yep.
if we need to? Okay,
Yes.
perfect.
So it's not something that I expect you to answer in one setting. I do expect you to take a look at it and examine it. And I'm making myself a note to make certain I set the timing up appropriately. And I might just move it to a Google form so that makes it easier for you to do.
Just I think on Google Forms it would actually delete our answers if we were to go onto it and then come back. I think on Canvas it doesn't do that. The quizzes have been like at the beginning of the semester.
Right, right. So Edward asked, my advisor gave me a spreadsheet for me to put in my classes. She mentioned how this is part of my final. Is this something that's involved in the final? You will use that spreadsheet to answer some of the questions that will be in this quiz. I'm just not going to be asking you to turn that spreadsheet in.
Yeah, sort of in reference to that spreadsheet, it's like I met with my advisor and I filled out the the checklist that that you put out. Aside from that checklist, is there anything else that I should try and do to prepare for this?
No, I think if the checklist helps you understand what the degree process is, and so that's an important thing. So as long as you are able to say, this is my major and this how many credits is required for my major, then that will be sufficient.
All right. Just one more question about the quiz thing. So like, I lost my train of thought. Sorry.
It'll come back.
Yeah, I'll get back to you on that.
Mm-hmm.
I have a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Will we be receiving like a rubric for the paper
Yes.
on when you release the assignment?
Yes.
Okay.
So all that will be spelled out in the assignment that comes out on next Monday. So there'll be a template and a rubric to let you know what I'm looking for in this particular paper. And again, I think the quiz is for you, for me to know that you've thought about a long-term academic plan. Some of the questions are simple, like how many credits does it take to get a degree from the University of Michigan? Some of them may take a little more thought. My major requires this many prerequisites, so you can think about it in that terms. And so some of them don't, some of them are very quite simple. This is a class I'm using for my first year writing requirement. Some of them require more thought. And so I just want you to see what the questions are. And maybe I'll change the timing so it comes out on Wednesday. So you'll have more time to look at it. I'll go in and see if I can do that. So you'll have more time to look at it, but there are questions that will help me know that you have spent some time thinking about a long-term academic plan.
I have a quick question to our juniors and seniors. The long-term academic plan, since I'm at the end of my degree, would it be okay if I talk about my plans after I finish my undergraduate degree, or do you want me to just talk about my next semester here?
It would also, the paper would ask you to talk about what happens next. And so for the academic plan, it will ask you to tell me what you're using for these particular things, these degree requirements. So if you've already had an audit done or something like that, that would make it really easy for you. But it will be asking you to look at the long-term academic plan, at what happens next semester, and then the paper will ask us to think beyond the four-year degree, what happens next, and how are you prepared for what happens next?
Okay, so for the parts like first year writing requirement and level writing requirement, I could fill in classes that I've already taken that satisfy that though?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
I have a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to transfer to a different school. So should I, for like the quiz part, should I fill out, for instance, like the number of credits for like a BBA? Should I fill that out as if I am in like the different school, or just fill it out as if like I'm still in LSNA?
So if you plan to transfer to Ross or to the College of Engineering or the School of Public Policy, there'll be a question that it asks you if you're going to do that. And again, because I know those degree requirements, what are those degree requirements? And there'll be particular questions about those particular degree requirements in the quiz.
Okay. Thank you.
The main goal here is for you to say, this is where I'm trying to go. And for me to take a look at it and to say, these are things you might want to look at as you go forward. So I made accommodations for those who want to transfer to engineering, or I think I've seen engineering, public policy, and Ross right now. I haven't seen anything else. But I've tried to make those preparations. Any other questions you have?
Yeah, I have one last question. So this statement we have to write, you know, about our long-term plan. You said it's about 500 words? Okay.
Yeah, I don't want it to be overly long, but I do want to ask some particular questions about, you know, where you're going, what the next steps are after your undergraduate degree, and those sorts of challenges or things you might want to prepare for as you go forward.
Gotcha.
So it's an opportunity for you to reflect on what this academic plan looks like, what it says about you, and what it says about your need to prepare as you go forward. Are all of your finals coming on the same day? Are things happening at the same time?
For the most part, yes.
So I did have this assignment due the last day of classes, but I just figured there'd be so much happening on the last day of classes that giving you an additional week might be helpful. If you think you need more time than that, let me know. I have to read them all by the 21st of December.
Finally remember what it was that I wanted to ask about the paper / survey thing. You said that the survey was 500 words. Is it like a 500 word minimum or 500 word maximum?
There It would be a maximum, but that's not a, it's about a 500 word maximum probably.
All right. Yeah, I just wanted to confirm that. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Mhm.
Say that we don't really know what our major is right now. I mean, I don't think a lot of us do. And we're floating between two different ones, and it like, okay, so I'm trying to get into PPE, say, and it depends on whether I get into it this winter, and then if I don't, then it's going to be like my plan B is completely different, right? And so at that point, do I just do this exercise or this assignment as if my plan is PPE, or should I dive into like my plan B if that fails?
I would want you to make this plan on plan A. I know we all have backup plans and backup plans to the backup plans, but I would rather you focus on what you really think you want to do. And if you are, again, I think if you have those degree programs where you have to apply, like PPE, org studies, etc., then make that your plan goal. I mean, I think we can work with you. You, me, your advisor can work if that doesn't work out and we have to switch to another option. That's an easier thing to do. So I'd rather you pursue that as your plan A. If you have no idea what you want to do, and I'm thinking about 4 different majors, choose one. The process of planning that one major will help you figure out what you need to do as if I change to another one. You can figure out what things work, what things don't work. But I would just select one and not necessarily make an arbitrary selection, but just select one. Select one that says, hey, I'm considering psychology or organizational studies or sociology. I'm going to choose psychology and make that your plan. And as you just the whole process of planning will help you if you have to change to something else. One of the issues that we find is that students run into roadblocks and they've not made any other plan. And so that switching to another plan is hard because they've not thought carefully about any one particular plan. I came to college to be a doctor. My mama was a doctor. My daddy was a doctor. I'm always going to be a doctor. And I can't pass Chem 130. What do I now do? I think it's a matter of having a process in place where you begin to look at your own individual strengths and weaknesses and your own desires and your motivation to fulfill those desires and help and actually sit down and plan what those things look like. I worked with a student one time who wanted to go to medical school and did not realize that medical school was 4 additional years after the undergraduate program. They just hadn't thought about it in that sort of term. And he wanted to be a psychiatrist and didn't realize that that is the longest residency, one of the longest residencies you have to do in medical school. So before you could be a practicing psychiatrist, you would have been in college for 12 years or some sort of school for 12 years and hadn't thought about it. And so sometimes we just have something sitting in front of us as a goal, and we haven't carefully thought out all the steps that we need to take to get to that goal. This planning process should help you in that process to see exactly realistically what's expected of you, but also help you pivot if plan A doesn't work and I need to go to plan B. Any other question you might have?
Just one more for me. You said that we're supposed to we're supposed to put down when we met with our advisor on the quiz, or are we supposed to like send that information to you, like
It'll be on the quiz that you have to do, and maybe it's more of a survey. I should call it a survey. So the survey online will be there.
Okay, thank you.
You'll have to tell me when that happened.
All right, quick question. Is there a certain number of times where we have to meet with our advisor other than one time?
The expectation is that you would have met with someone twice this semester. So the
Okay.
first assignment had you meet with someone. This assignment also expects a different appointment from that one.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Mhm. Any other questions you might have? You're always free to send me an email and I'll try to answer them as quickly and as well as I can. I didn't do email over the holidays, so I was running behind on my email. I needed a break.
Are you putting grades in for 2
Yes.
assignments? Okay.
Yes, I have those. I have to put those in today or tomorrow. So hopefully by tomorrow, Wednesday, we'll be all caught up with everything. Correct. It is offered pass fail.
Quick question. With fail option, how does that work in regards to graduation requirements and then like fulfilling the CSP requirement and our GPA?
It doesn't count toward your GPA. Passing the class gives you credit toward degree and credit toward fulfilling the CSP requirement.
Thank you so much.
This
Oh,
is, go ahead.
So until when do we have the pass fail option?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand your question.
So until when are we allowed to switch to pass?
The class is offered pass fail, so there is no option to change it. It's from the beginning, it was offered pass fail.
Okay, thank you so much for explaining that.
You don't have to do anything. Okay, if no other questions, just let me know. Thank you all for showing up today. It'll be great. I wanted to. Okay. So Carrie says you can switch a class to pass fail. That is if the class was initially offered graded. This class was originally offered pass fail, so this you do not have to change. So if you took another class that was initially offered graded, then you could change the class to pass or fail. All right. Thank you all so much. Enjoy your day.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.